here in Secchi near King's Lynn in Norfolk because the people at Beers of Europe have invited us in for a pint to talk about AI. And how can you say no to the largest beer shop in the UK? Over 2,000 varieties of beer from 80 countries. Let's see what they've got inside. But when I asked Copilot to link Secchi's story with the story of this area, it reveals some fascinating facts. Beneath these fields are layers of earth shaped over millions of years, including when this whole area was underwater during the Holocene period. Underneath us, there are extraordinary things waiting to be seen. And that's what AI does. It links all of the dots together and uncovers amazing stuff that's just waiting to be found. Hi, Amanda. Nice to meet you.
Hi, welcome to Beers of Europe.
Oh, thank you. I'm really excited to be in this beer paradise. There's so much here.
Yeah, let me show you around.
Love to.
Okay, I know as a business we're not using AI to its full potential, but I can't wait to meet Stuart so he can take us through it.
How long have you been here then?
You're right, so Beers of Europe started 25 years ago, and it was started by two brothers, the Clark brothers, and they used to make frequent trips to Germany, so that's how they got the idea of bringing the German beer into Beers of Europe.
And is it just beers?
Mostly beers, but we also do ciders, we do spirits, we also do wines as well, but beers is the most popular.
So you got so much stock here. Like, you know, how many different beers have you got?
Right, we have over 15,000 different beers here on the shelves, but with this side is our German beer and the other side is our Belgian beer, and they're our most popular lines.
Wow, and are you selling mostly in store or online?
We do online as well. Online is very popular.
Wow, that must be a big challenge for you just to kind of generate all of your website content, all your descriptions, things like that.
Yeah, it's a massive challenge. I mean, absolutely, doing the description is it's a full-time job.
Does that not just come from the beer supplier, from the manufacturer?
Not really, no. The breweries are very good at producing the beer, but not so great at supplying us the information on each individual beer, so we have to kind of do that ourselves.
Cool, but that sounds like a mammoth task.
Yes, it is.
So being so online,
yes.
You know, how do you get the word out there? Because so let's say this was a new line for you or something like this. How are you promoting this right now?
Right. Okay. So something like the Schneiderweiss, online we'd be doing it using our social media channels. So we'd start off with Facebook promotion, and then we'd do an Instagram. We'd probably put a short video together or a reel. And then we'd follow through with email marketing.
Wow, there's a lot of content to generate there. And who's buying this? Who's your market right now, and where do you want to reach?
Right. Okay. So I would say with our market, with the beers at the moment, especially with the German beer, it starts off at about the age of 45 onwards. But we do have a very loyal following as well. So as soon as we start promoting, our existing customers will find out about it and will buy.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, we know that people's taste profiles and lifestyles and stuff have changed now.
Yes.
So there is, this different that for from the youth. So probably just to try and find some innovative new ways to be able to get people interested in just trying beer, because it's not all beer. It's gluten-free beer, low alcohol beer, and things like this as well, and some of the other things that you've got as well. So I'm sure we could find something there that could help you with that as well.
Yeah, cool.
So I can't wait to find out more about the business.
I'll go and grab some glasses then, and you can choose a beer.
Perfect. I'll go and find the right pint for me. How on earth does somebody end up with thousands of different types of beer? It's like collecting gone mad. Do I want this one? Do I want this one? Maybe I could use Copilot to help me find my perfect pint before I lose my way entirely in here. We've moved now to one of your other spaces. So, what we haven't spoken about is that there's an antique centre that's attached to the beer place as well. This is a fantastic space. Loads of really great, interesting things to see here. But the thing that's interesting me right now is the beers.
Right, okay.
So we've got a couple of different ones, haven't we? What have we got here?
Yeah, we've got the two Norfolk beers. So we've got one from Wolf Brewery, and this one is from a Wildcraft in Norfolk as well. So this is an IPA.
Let's get these poured and tuck in. There we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Lovely. So let's have a look and see how we can use AI here. for Beers of Europe. So what I've got here is Copilot. This is actually included in your Microsoft 365 subscription. And one of the great things about using Copilot, as opposed to some of the other AI products that we've got here, is that Microsoft doesn't train its models on your data. So you can put business data in here. You could be talking about making decisions, and we won't use that to train the foundational models. Good. So you can, anybody within your organization can really use it with confidence.
Okay.
And it's available here on your laptop. You've also got it on your phone. And what I love doing on my phone is just having a conversation with it, treating it like an advisor, a critical friend, something like that, who I can bounce ideas off.
Right.
So we spoke earlier about kind of your market's 45 plus. Let's look at ways that we can kind of get a younger market here.
Okay.
So here we've got Copilot on your phone, and they've just got this little waveform icon here. Hey there, Copilot. I run Beers of Europe, the UK's largest beer shop, and I've got over 2,000 different beers from 80 different countries. My market that I mainly sell to is 45-year-olds. Could you maybe identify 5 different markets that I might want to try and break into? I should say as well that I sell predominantly online. We have got an in-store presence, but most of our traffic is online.
Got it. You might want to consider expanding into markets like younger craft beer enthusiasts who appreciate experimenting with diverse flavors, corporate clients who might need gifts or event supplies, international customers, especially those interested in unique or rare beers, homebrewers who could look for inspiration or ingredients, and perhaps even subscription box enthusiasts who love curated selections delivered to their doorstep.
Okay, so the younger audience, I think, could be really key for us because, as I said, we're only really selling to over 45s. But we know that audience is about kind of experiences and things like this. What kind of experiences could I create that might interest them, and how can I market to that audience specifically?
For younger audiences, experiences like virtual tasting events, pairing workshops, or brewing tutorials could be a hit. You might also consider exclusive access to limited releases or collaborations with popular brands. Marketing-wise, focus on social media channels like Instagram or TikTok, using engaging content that highlights the experiential aspect and the story behind the beers.
So we'll just, we'll stop there with the voice. But what I can do, and what I love, is that I could start the conversation here.
Right.
And then when I'm back at my desk, I can just go and refresh, I can go to Copilot, and then my conversation will move across here. So now I can see, hey there, Copilot, I run Beers of Europe. And I've got all of the groups, so where they spoke about different audiences to kind of look at, so we can do that. And we can pick that up there. Okay, so we spoke here about tasting events. So we can say here, and I'm going to just use Windows and H. Okay. I use online mainly to sell, so the tasting events need to be virtual tasting events. What might be a format that I could use for that? How can I get that done quickly and efficiently? And what would be the prerequisites for me being able to create a virtual tasting event? And it will do that for me. So now it will go off and find all these different things. So it's something what I might need to do, which beers, what the actual tasting kit might look like itself, platforms, so we can see it's got Microsoft Teams or other things here, who your host and experts are, what the content is and stuff like this. So let's say that sounds amazing. I want to market it on Instagram, and I've heard that Reels are a great way to do that. Could you think of a Reel format that I could use to promote the virtual tasting event? There we go. And then it can do that. So I know that just creating content, it just is a real tough time sometimes. You're running your business, you're doing this thing, and then somebody says, oh, you need to create this idea.
Yes.
Here we can see that It's got the different slides. It's got 5 slides of our reel. It's told us what words to use, what the photos are, all of those things. So you can just kind of get on and do that without having to think about that. Now, the other thing that I kind of just did want to talk about is when I came through, I noticed that the restaurant is closed. We were just down there and I saw some signs and I saw on your website. Why is the restaurant closed right now?
Yeah, the restaurant's closed because we had a fire just before Christmas in the kitchen. So we're actually waiting to rebuild it at the moment.
Oh, that sounds like it must have been a really tough time.
Yeah.
How long do we think it's going to be?
I think we'll probably try to be open in August. So, yeah, it's been a while.
Amazing. That's really sad to hear, but amazing that it's going to be opening again. A great thing that you could use Copilot for is to work out what your launch event might be.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
Again, you could do that audience segmentation. So previously, when it was open, what kind of groups and had you coming in?
Okay, so during the day we had the slightly older market, so it was from 55 upwards. And then in the evenings on a Friday and Saturday night, we have a younger market, so that would be from about 25 onwards as well.
Okay, so let's see what Copilot can do here. We also have a restaurant and tap room on site, which have unfortunately had to close because there was a fire in the kitchen. We're looking to reopen in August 2025. Now, currently, we had people in the past who were over 55 in the mornings. We had young mothers who were coming in at other times. And for Saturdays and Friday nights, we also had a younger crowd. Could you maybe help me to create a marketing plan that I could use for the 30-day build-up before that to make sure that everybody in the local area knows about this? So one of the things when you're doing prompting, we talk about these 4 parts of a prompt: the goal, the context, the source, and the expectation.
Right.
So what do you want? Why do you want it? So we've said what we want. We want the marketing plan.
Right.
We've said our context, so it's because the restaurant's broken down or burnt down. You can talk about the source. We haven't given a source there specifically, and then what your expectations are.
Okay.
So here we've got this 30-day plan here that you could use to do that.
That's clever.
So, social media, email newsletters, local press releases, things like this. So again, you could say, I'm based in Secchi.
Yeah.
Who are the local media outlets that I can work with? What are their publishing deadlines? Things like that. So you can actually really do a lot of the legwork for you without having to phone them up and saying, what day do I need to get a press release for you to be able to get it into your channels and things like this. So you can go day by day. And again, if you keep on asking it more and more questions, so you could say, okay, so I could say here, create a day-by-day plan in a table with the columns activity, expectations, equipment, script, and prereqs. So those are the things there, and it will then just do it for you. So if you can't work, I can't work with the paragraphs of text that we've got there, but actually tables work for me really, really easily. So here we've got that day by day plan here, and then you can go and copy that, paste that, go and stick it into your emails, and do it that way. So you just kind of keep on diving deeper.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a couple of things there that we've got just to be able to find audiences that you could use, where you could go for here. Something else I love to do is be able to define my audiences. So let's say that previously you had your over 55s, you had your young mothers, your younger crowd for your Fridays and Saturdays. What you could do is say, I'm looking at creating this press release.
Right.
Analyze how each of those groups would feel about the content of that press release.
Okay.
So then you can tailor your content, and it might say, well, actually, it's great for the young mothers, it's great for the younger crowd, but actually you didn't really talk about anything there that would excite that over 55 audience.
Right.
Then before you send it off to the newspapers and Facebook and all of those things, you can then start to tailor your content to go, I've missed something out there for that over 55s audience.
Right, so you hit all the markets with
yeah,
it. That's good.
So I think it's just still having that critical friend who can help you and go, you've missed this, bounce ideas off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And previously you would have had to engage a paid consultant who would have been able to
Yeah.
you with that.
Yeah, so it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So how does that sound?
Yeah,
Does that
it sounds
sound like
brilliant. I mean, yeah, we need to be using this, definitely.
Yeah, and I bet you didn't even know that Copilot Chat was included in your subscription
no, I
as
didn't know
well.
it was included.
So rather than going and paying for anything, you're already paying for it. You know, everybody in your organisation could be using that.
Yeah, we all need to be using it. With the restaurant, the warehouse restaurant being closed due to a fire, obviously there's going to be a big marketing build-up before we start, and I can see that AI will help us to get to those audiences that maybe we haven't before, and also to spread the word and help us across all our social channels.
It's been great to be here today with Beers of Europe, seeing how Copilot can support their growth, open up new markets, and inspire fresh ways to market their products. They've got so many beers here, I worked out it'd take me nearly 20 years to try them all. Guess I'd better get started.